One of the things I get asked the most often is how I manage my time and how I plan out my days and my weeks. I've got two kids under the age of 4. One is an 8-month-old, and I run an online business. So things are pretty crazy around here, and I 100% need some sort of a planning system to keep me going and to organize my days. Otherwise, I don't think I would get a thing done. So things have shifted a little bit over the past year. I now have had to incorporate a project management tool, so I use Asana for that. But before I used Asana, and actually still currently in conjunction with using Asana, I have been using the Full Focus Planner, which is right here. And I've been using this for about a year and a half now, and I'm still loving it. And I'm still finding having this physical planner useful, even though I'm also using a project management system. This planner I love for a few reasons. Firstly, it's super simple. I don't know about you guys, but there are a lot of planners out there that have different prompts in them. They're very structured. They've got you doing journaling and stuff every day. And while I love those things, when push comes to shove, like after the first week or so of doing it, I end up just skipping all of that stuff. And I end up with a planner that I've really only used maybe like half of the pages because I end up just getting too busy and I just don't spend the time doing any of the prompts. So the Full Focus Planner is great because it's got some of that structure in there, which we'll get into in a second, but it's simple enough that I actually complete all of the different prompts, and there's just not a lot of wasted space for me, which I really love. Second thing is it allows me to prioritize. So we'll get into the method that it uses in a minute here, but when I open Asana in the morning and I've got 15 or 20 to-do items on my list, this planner is really what helps me prioritize what is the most important. And it's one of the only planners that I've come across that really allows you to tie your day-to-day actions and tasks that you want to get done on a day-to-day level back to your goals that you've set. So your quarterly goals and your annual goals. So using this planner helps me to feel like I've made a little bit of progress towards the goals that I've set out each and every day, because it's got me prioritizing those small tasks that are actually going to chip away and move the needle on those goals. And that's something that I really love about this planner. So now I'm going to give you a little bit of a walkthrough of how the Full Focus Planner allows you to plan for the macro, so achievement of your big yearly goals that you've set, and how it can help you tie each of the tasks down at the daily level back to the achievement of your goals. If you're new around here, my name is Rachel Harrison-Sund, and I help people to generate passive income selling journals, planners, notebooks, and more on the Kindle Direct publishing platform. If that sounds interesting to you, then hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell so that you can be notified every time I put out one of these videos, which is every Monday. All right, so this is the Full Focus Planner. This is the classic line, and this is the oatmeal color, but it is available in a few different ranges, which I will just quickly show you right now. So this is the classic line. Mine is the standard version, and it's available in oatmeal, gray, and navy. You can also get it in a coil version and also in a pocket-sized version. This also comes in an executive line, and the only real difference here is that it comes in either black or brown leather, but again, you can have it in the standard version, or you can get it coil or pocket-sized. And recently they've also introduced the bold line. So this one's kind of nice. It's got various different colors of leather. So it's got olive, eggplant, French blue, and poppy. And it's got a little bit more of a modern, sort of contemporary, updated interior design and layout. Now also added recently, they've got a kids line and even a student line. Okay, now one more thing to mention before I go ahead and show you inside the planner. This planner is a little bit different. It works on a 90-day achievement cycle. So most planners out there, they'll take you through an entire year. This planner takes you through a quarter. So you actually end up going through 4 different planners a year. Some people may not like that. I actually really like that because I like to plan in quarters. So this works really well for me. All right, let's go ahead and take a look inside the planner. Actually, before we take a look inside the planner, tell me, do you use a planner or some sort of planning system to plan your days or weeks? If so, let me know in the comments below. What is it that you use? What works for you? Okay, so this is the Full Focus Planner, and I've pretty much just finished a quarter, so this is a brand new one that I'm about to start here. So let's go ahead and take a look. So you do have some start here instructions. It's pretty self-explanatory as you go through, but there's also some online tutorials that Michael Hyatt, who created this planner, has made available on YouTube. So you can check those out. And yeah, there's just some standard setup kind of helpful hints there if you need it. First page, you have your annual goals. So essentially, you're just going to list out your goals. You can list out the quarter that you want to achieve those goals in. This is based on quarters, 90-day achievement cycles, so I do find that quite useful. Now, second page, and for the next 10 pages, you're going to go into your goal details. So you can either use your annual goals that you have written down on the previous page, or if you want to break down those annual goals into quarterly goals, which is what I like to do, this is where you're going to write all that information. So basically, you're going to write a goal summary, whether it's achievement or a habit goal. If you want, you can include the life domain it's in. So that's like spiritual, parental, intellectual, social, emotional, vocational, a few other ones there. And then you're going to write down your key motivations. Now, this is a great one because what key motivations are, it's really talking about what is your why. So if you're starting to get demotivated on a goal, it's nice to kind of flip back and reference here. What are my motivations for doing this? I find that really useful in regaining motivation when it starts to falter. So I really like the inclusion of that. Next, it's asking you, what are your next steps? Like, what are the first few actions you need to take to reach your goal? So that really helps you thinking about, what are the steps I need to take to reach this goal? And you can list them there. And then just at the end, it's a fun thing. You can write down your reward. So how are you going to celebrate once you achieve your goal? And then if it's a habit goal, you've got a streak tracker here. So you can just check off, how many days in a row you've been doing your whatever it is. So let's say you have a goal to go on a run every day at 5:30 a.m. I would never do that, but maybe that's you. Then you can actually just check off the days. And, the idea obviously is to try and get a streak going. So I think there's room for probably about 8 or 10 of these goals here. And once you get past that, you're right into the monthly calendars. So again, this is includes an entire quarter. So you've got 3 monthly calendars here. And basically, I just use this to jot down any, major deadlines or important appointments or anything like that. You can just write them in here. So you can just see at a glance, which I find pretty useful. The next thing is the rolling quarters, and I have to admit, I have never used this. I think it's just a matter of, what your preference is, but it's basically just another way of doing that previous calendar. So you're going to write your months here. Let's say, January, February, March. You've got your days 1 to 31 here, and you're just going to write down whatever, major appointments or events or anything else you kind of want to just keep track of at a glance. That's what you can do with this rolling quarters section. From there, you move into your daily rituals. This I find really useful. Michael Hyatt's really big on these rituals. So you want to write down your morning ritual, workday startup, workday shutdown, and evening ritual. And the idea here is to just kind of get yourself primed for the day so that when you wake up, you're doing the exact same routine. And it kind of just becomes second nature and just gets you, primed for the day. So I have to admit now, I've got an 8-month-old baby. This morning ritual, that's gone completely right out the window. It doesn't exist. I sleep right until the second I hear him cry. So that is my morning ritual. I'm sure I'll bring that back at a later date when sleep isn't so important to me. My old morning ritual, it used to be, I would get up, I would do some stretches, some yoga, some journaling, gratitude, meditation. There's, maybe like 4 or 5 different things I would do, and that's how I would start every single day. I am still doing my workday startup ritual, which basically just includes some gratitude, some journaling, I guess a couple of the things that I used to do for my morning ritual. Checking out my tasks for the day, reviewing all of my goals, so annual goals, quarterly goals. I'm doing all of that as my workday startup ritual. So when I sit down at my desk, everything I just said, I'm doing that before I get going. That just gets me primed, gets me in the mood to work, and I know what I'm working toward because I reviewed my goals, and that just gets me in the right frame of mind. Workday shutdown ritual, mine's pretty simple. I'm just planning out the following day and tidying my desk. So I just keep that one pretty simple. And I've never really had an evening ritual. I don't know about you guys, if you've got kids, the evening ritual is basically put the kids to bed and then like watch TV for an hour. That's my evening ritual. I'm sure that'll change as they get older, but that's what it is currently. Next, and I'm gonna actually show you a previous planner for this one, just because I think it's helpful to actually see one that's been filled in. This is the ideal week. So it's basically just a calendar where you block off time to do the things that you actually want to do. So this is almost a couple of years old now, but you can see I've got blocked in my morning ritual. I've got, get my daughter ready, workday startup ritual. At this point in time, I was working on my course. So I've got blocks of time blocked out for that. You can see I've got my KDP publishing blocked out over here. So as I always say, what gets scheduled gets done. You need to know how many hours a day and when those hours are happening, what you're doing in those hours. When you can see this at a glance, it's like, okay, every Tuesday between 10 and 12, I know that I'm working on my digital course. Or for KDP, I know that Thursdays and Fridays from whatever this is, 2 to 5, that time is dedicated to KDP. So this is just really helpful to, plot out how you actually want to spend your time to get things done. So I have found that very useful. All right, then we get into what your key projects are for the quarter. And we start off with your weekly big 3. This is where the magic starts happening. So you need to list 3 objectives to advance your goals and projects this week. So what 3 things do you want to get done this week that are going to move the needle on the goals that you have outlined at the beginning of your planner? And then when we get into the daily pages here, you're going to do a daily big 3. And your daily big 3, these are going to be 3 tasks in your day that are going to relate back to getting your weekly big 3 done. And as I just said, your weekly big 3 are advancing your goals. So you can see now how this planner is enabling you to prioritize your tasks so that you're always kind of connecting, what you're doing today to what you want to get done for the week, to what you want to get done for the quarter or the year. So for me, I open up Asana in the morning. I might have 10 or 15 tasks, but I want to sift through those and think, okay, if I don't get anything else done today, what are the 3 things that I can do that are going to help me advance my weekly big 3? Which again, in turn, advance my goals for the quarter or for the year. So it's really helpful to just narrow things down and help you prioritize what actually needs to get done versus the busy work that we all so often get so consumed with. You've also got, weeks remaining in the quarter up here. You can tick off your rituals if you want to do that. There's space here for times. If you've got an appointment at 10 a.m., you can just write it in. And then a page of notes. Every spread has a page for notes, which I'm basically always fill up because I'm always taking notes. So I find that super handy. Now at the end of your week, you're going to do a weekly preview. So if I can flip the page, you'll be able to see it. This is a time for reflection. You're just going to write down what were your biggest wins? What were your 3 to 5 accomplishments from last week? So this just gets you in a good, positive headspace. You get to just spend a moment, give yourself a nice pat on the back for what you accomplished the previous week. Then you're going to do an after action review. So you're going to look back on that weekly big 3 from the previous week, and you're going to fill out, on a percentage scale, how much did you get done? Then you're going to talk about, you're going to reflect on what worked, what didn't, what you can keep, improve, start, or stop doing. And then you're just going to tidy things up. You're going to do a list sweep. So any tasks that you didn't get done, you can either move them into the following week, or you can throw them into your project manager. You go through your daily notes, see if there's any action items that you need to scrape out of those. Now you've got this area here, which honestly I don't really use, but if you want to think about the week ahead and list important events, deadlines, and tasks, you can do that here. Or you can use this page, which I find a little bit more useful. You can try and plot out, with that coming week, those tasks, what day do you want to try and plunk them into? So you can use that. I don't always use this either, but I do sometimes. But this really is where the magic is happening, is your weekly big three. So again, what's the weekly big three that you're going to focus on next week that are going to be tied directly to those goals that you outlined? Now the self-care planner here, this is a great idea. It is one of the ones that I don't often use. It's one of those things where I know that I should, but this kind of always gets neglected. But if you've got ideas on what you want to do to improve any of these things, sleep, eat, move, connect, relax, you can plug those in there. And then you're back to the start of another week. Now, when you get to the end of the planner, so at the very end of the quarter, instead of a weekly preview or a weekly review, you're going to do a quarterly. Where is it? Still got some ways to go here. A quarterly preview. So it's just going to be, again, it's going to be like a weekly preview, but on a quarterly scale. So what were your biggest wins? How far did you get? What worked? What didn't? What will you keep doing? What will you improve? Start doing? Stop doing? And then there's some more instructions here. So if you've got a life plan, you want to review that now. If you've got an annual goals, which clearly you do, you've already outlined those at the beginning. This is the time for you to look over those annual goals again, and just reconnect with those goals and think about, moving into the next quarter, which ones are you going to be taking with you? Do any of them need to be tweaked, refined in any way, and, changed? And then you can look at your calendar, your ideal week preview, or ideal week review, daily rituals review, anything moving into the next quarter with your new planner that you want to tweak or refine, you can think about and do that. At the back, you've just got some notes. And if you're a previous bullet journal user like I am, you'll probably find this index useful. Like I already said, I write notes all over the place, and then I just forget where I've written things down. So let's say I've written a bunch of notes about course creation. I can just, in the back here, write down course creation notes, and I can jot down the page or pages where I've placed those notes. So next time I'm thinking about it, in 3 weeks' time, and I'm going, oh yeah, I watched that webinar and I had all those notes. Where are they? Rather than flip through the whole thing, I can just flip to the index here and say, oh, okay, I put those on page whatever, and I can flip back to it easily. So I really appreciate that. And that is it. That is the full focus planner. Oh, actually one more thing, 2 more things. There's a pocket at the back here. And the reason I forgot about it is because I've never really used it, but you could put whatever loose notes back there, receipts if you're out and about. And then there are a couple of ribbons. So, oh, there goes my ring light. So I'll have to add that to my to-dos, buy new ring light. This thing's been driving me nuts for forever. Yeah, it's got 2 ribbons. So I usually have one ribbon on the day that I'm at, and then I have my other ribbon on my weekly preview. So I can quickly just flip back between, my daily big 3 and my weekly big 3 and see how my progress is doing. So that is the full focus planner. So there you have it. This is why I love the full focus planner and why I continue to use it a year and a half later, even now that I'm also using a project management tool, Asana, as well. I'm still not ready to give this up. I love how they work in combination with each other, and I really love how this planner just helps me keep me focused on my priorities and actually allows me to make incremental progress every single day with those daily big 3 tasks that are tied directly back to my goals. So I really do feel like this keeps me on target for reaching my goals. If you want to check out the planner, go ahead and click on the link in the description below. Now, if you're interested in learning how to generate passive income selling journals, planners, notebooks, and more on the Kindle Direct Publishing platform, then be sure to check out the description below and find the link that you can download my free guide from, the 3 steps to publishing your first low content book in less than a day, and be sure to join my free Facebook group, Low Content Profits. Check out these videos next for more on mindset, motivation, and performance. And if you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching.